signed in today. So,
Okay, now it's
everybody's
going.
dealing with the same problems.
Now it's going. I'm going to hit record. All right, everybody, welcome to Critique Arena number 30 something. And can you believe we've been doing it that long?
No, I didn't know we were up to that number.
Yeah. And I think it's Critique Arena 31. Just going to share the screen here. It's
Will always says Criticarina, and now I can only hear it as that.
Criticarina.
Criticarina.
It is Star. Star is the prompt for this this particular month, and we had a ton of cool entries. It was really fun to see your guys' take on Star. So it was good. We had kind of a hard time picking out which ones would be the top 16, but here we are. We've got it figured out. Okay, so before we get into just one quick announcement. Next week on the 14th, I believe it is, we are doing the Critique Arena All-Stars. So what this is everybody who has won a Critique Arena this last year is invited to do the All-Star match. And so they get to go head to head with each other, all the winners. And it was really cool what we did last year. They all showed up. It was amazing artwork, the best artwork of the year. And it was just cool to see everybody, their take on the prompt, and then go and win a prize. We've got cash prizes for the winners this year. So, and we're just it's just a way to make Critique Arena a little more fun, I think. So check that out. Also, we would love it if you filled out a what is it called? A survey. That's right. There's a survey about Critique Arena because we want to change things up here a little bit. And have Critique Arena evolve into what best I think what's best for the community here, best for us who are hosting it, just so we can make it better. So we've got a survey to ask you some questions, and I believe that is being posted in the chat by Austin. So look for the link to that in the chat. Yep. It's right there, and fill that out, and then we can and if you've, it's not the first time we've posted it, so if you've already done it, that's great. You don't have to do it again unless you have more ideas or more thoughts. Go for it. All right, should we get started, Lee?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I always love seeing who's pitted against each other. Me and Jake picked the winners a couple of days ago, but I don't know who's up against who.
Now you do for the first one. Okay, so as as usual, as per the usual, as they say these days, we each say one thing we like, and then we let you guys vote. We let you guys vote on them. Okay, so I'll do the A's, you do the B's. How's that sound?
Done deal.
Okay. All right, so here we have Catherine Adibio. I spelled it wrong. Let me just switch that. There we go. I want to make sure I get that right. There we go. I missed 2 letters. Okay, so what I liked about this, I like this concept that the stars are being reflected into the pool, and they're able to retrieve them. And I think that rendering is done beautifully.
Cool concept. Everybody had cool concepts this time with the star. I'd love to hear in the chat of what you guys thought for the people that entered. What you guys thought of this kind of more open concept in terms of illustrating it versus we've been pretty specific on some of the other ones. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about the direction, or maybe we just do both and we kind of alternate them as we go.
Yeah.
I tend to like the open concepts better. Some people really like detailed prompts that are super specific. Bailey's is B, and it is beautiful. Doing a couple things, just, checking the list of how to make a good illustration. You got your most interesting shapes and your highest contrast over at the focal point, and just love that. You got the really warm kind of yellow against that cooler purple in the background. So you'd play in warms versus cools and light versus dark. And then also, the houses are just pretty general kind of shapes, but then you got this really interesting, more unique shapes where the subject matter is. So just kind of a how-to on how to make a good illustration, in my opinion.
Cool. Well, I'm going to launch the poll here, and then we'll see what you guys think. We're always, as usual, we're always looking for at least 90% participation on the voting. And we got about 100 people here today. So that means about 90 of you need to put the sandwiches down and click A or B. And right now it could go either way.
Laura's saying there's no poll. Don't put in what you guys think it's going to be, by the way, too. Don't spoil the
Don't
water
post
there.
it on the chat.
I got the poll. I don't know why Laura's not seeing it. Is everyone else seeing the poll? I'm seeing it. Okay. So the majority of people are seeing it.
Yeah. I liked Dave's comment back in the chat. He said, lots of fun concepts this month. For some reason, I completely blanked when thinking what to do. And when I saw all these fantastic examples, I was like, oh, yeah. All right. We got enough people have voted. 92% showed up. I'm going to end the poll and share these results. And
whoa, it was a squeaker.
yeah, so close.
Interesting.
But
wow,
it goes to Catherine.
44 to 48. That shows how your vote actually matters when you guys are voting. Me and Jake can't actually vote. But that shows you guys are changing people's lives. For Bailey, what would we do different to improve it? This is only a nitpicky thing for me. I think it's a super strong image. Well, there's one bigger thing and then there's one small thing that I'll say. The bigger thing to me is that we've got a split composition where you got 50% of the action on one side and then 50% of the composition on the other side. And it really can, like if you just basically hold your hand up where that lighthouse is, and just leave the right side of the image, that's still an image that image would probably have won. Like the houses aren't giving us that much, but it's the split composition that I would change. The moon is causing way too much attention. I would knock that moon back in value, and I would also make it much smaller because you want that yellow to be reserved for the focal point.
Yeah, if I just do this, you could see.
Oh, me likey. Maybe bring a couple of those buildings kind of spilling into the left, but yeah, that's killer.
Like now you've got it. You've got something. The other thing I think would be cool is just a little bit of atmosphere. I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. We're just gonna do this, and we're just gonna fade these back a little bit. You could still have the shining coming through the windows here. And I think what that does is it'll actually, let me silhouette these out a little bit more. It just brings more attention over to this,
Hey, Jake, can you give me Sharon's screen? Me and Jake were talking about some of the entries, and we thought that a lot of them missed the opportunity to have a little bit of glow around your star. So I want to show you how I do that.
Yeah, let's see that.
It's simple. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Sharon screen.
You got it?
Yeah. All right, there's a million ways to do it. Will has a different way of doing it. I liked Will's way. I can't remember how he does it. But I typically just go set your layer, make your illustration first. Don't make the glow in the illustration. Add a new layer and change your blend mode to vivid light or hard light. I'll switch between them so you can see that. And the key is going way over to the super saturated area of the color. If you don't do that, it won't work. I'm doing this with a mouse, so this is a little, little bit clumsy. I need to go down, way down on my opacity because I don't have opacity control. Oh yeah, baby. Isn't that so pretty? So it doesn't haze it up. Here's what a lot of people do. They just leave the layer set to normal. They'll select some, so even a saturated color, but then they start like kind of painting over it, and it becomes hazy, and you kind of don't want that. And so that's what I love about the hard light or the vivid light. They both kind of do the similar thing, but you can just get it just adds this like just a little bit of warmth, and you can change the color.
Do it to the moon.
Let me go back to the red. I like picking the really hot colors. It's cool because it just kind of blends. It doesn't just like make it foggy looking. A lot of times I'll have to do it and then I'll have to back off of it a little bit. So I'll do it and then I'll come back a little bit. But if you turn it on and off, it just makes a little bit of warmth there without obscuring it and making it fuzzy or obscured, foggy.
Cool. All right, let me go back to this. Okay, next challenge, Josh Lewis versus Jennifer Thornhill. We've got elves working of some sort. So that's kind of the theme here. Let me get zoomed in.
Alyssa says that was a teachable moment. Teachable moments, you and for me. Teachable moments from Jake and from Lee.
All right, so we've got Josh here. I like the story that's going on here. We've got like a fantastic workshop with all the little details here. Candy Cane handled tools, star cores, pointy bits. There's just a lot happening, and you can see this guy is like a very workshopy type of elf, and he's just created a star. And I just like the story that's happening here. It's really well done.
I bought a new tool set, and now I'm upset that they don't have candy cane handles.
All right. Missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity. What I love about Jennifer's is it invites an entire story that's going to happen with painting the star with the reindeer magic, and they're building this big giant Christmas tree in the background. It almost seems like a shot from a book, that there's a before and there's an after, and there's this whole story that's going to happen. And so if this is a singular image, I want to invite Jennifer to explore it more as well, because I'd love to see where this story goes. But it's just great sequential storytelling. I just want to know more.
Yeah. I like the idea that in the North Pole, it's all mid-century modern A-frame cabins. That's cool. But these are both good like storytelling examples. Like these are good children's book pages.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's launch that poll again. And have at it.
We got a question from Mary. She's saying she got a message that said, failed to vote, error 5003. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know if she's saying she tried to vote and then it says you failed to vote, or is it just criticizing you for not voting? That's what it should do.
That is a question for Zoom technical support, not Lee.
Error, you did not vote. You did not participate.
All right. Critique Arena question or challenge number 2. I'm going to end the poll. We've got a 94% participation. So let's share it. And here we go.
All right, 75%.
A wins. Josh, you moved to the second level. Congratulations. Josh has come up from the lower ranks. It's cool to see him over the months and the years actually having submitted artwork that didn't get to the top 16 to getting better and better to artwork being in the top 16 to now winning and moving on to second level. It's been really
I
fun to watch.
love seeing that. I think my problem here with Jennifer's is it is a good storytelling image, but it's almost like a segue image versus the cell image.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys know what I mean by that. If you've done a book before, if you've done a dummy, there's a couple of moments you have to illustrate that is you're just like, okay, I need to move the story forward, but it's not the pinnacle kind of moment. And so I wonder if there's a better, more dramatic moment around this story, like maybe when they're trying to hoist that star up. The other little problem that I had with this one is that the reindeer magic paint is almost the same color as the star itself. So I didn't understand originally until Jake told me what he's painting on there. I was like, why is he painting a yellow star yellow?
Mm-hmm.
So just wasn't, I had to dig too deep.
And you notice you probably didn't even catch this, the bags holding down the star, because once you put the reindeer magic on it, it's going to float away, and that's how they're going to get it on the top.
So maybe that would be the better illustration, is that maybe there's not enough sand in the bag and it's starting to rise up there. You know, he's still trying to put the last bits of paint on there.
Yeah. Or you have the magic bucket. It's obviously been used. There's a bunch of elves like holding the star down with ropes, kind of like a Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloon. And they're trying to and the main elf is like directing them, over, up, something like that. I want to just point out too, like compositionally, you could go in here and get rid of this cabin right here and like add snow back here. Let me just get that thing going right there. And now you've got something that I think reads a little bit better too. Like,
but maybe that cabin is a little too dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once you get rid of that cabin, it's not as claustrophobic. It looks like, these guys are getting ready. Maybe you do put like another, cabin back here, far away, something like that.
Silhouette. Yeah.
But it really gives this thing space. You see how much more space this has compared to
Hey,
this.
do that trick where you're painting the blue, but just knock those cabins back a little bit.
Oh, right.
With the blue.
Oops.
You guys, this is the Will Terry trick and every other pro illustrator trick, but Will Terry does this a lot, where you want to put a lot of stuff in an illustration, but you want each layer to read clearly. And so the atmosphere starts to take over, but you can still put all the stuff in there. And that's the kind of the bonus of that is you can put as much detail in those buildings as you want. But since the atmosphere is kind of engulfed it, it doesn't start to compete in terms of contrast and detail.
Yep.
One thing I want to tell you guys, a lot of people are commenting in the little chat box over here, but your little thing is set to hosts and panelists only, so people cannot see what you're writing. Only me and Jake can. So if you want to address everybody, be sure to change that to say everyone. Okay,
next voting, we have Andrea versus Julianne.
So they're very similar. Did you curate these? How did you was it random?
It wasn't random. I put similar kind of things together so that
cool.
We could kind of
can you hit your tab button?
Oh yeah, thanks. So we could compare apples to apples instead of apples to oranges, So
I like it.
Yeah. So here we have two space themes. Andrea's is cool. I like this concept of character, like they're gathering stars, like that's their space job. It's just cool. I've done stuff like that before. I have a character called the Starcatcher that kind of does this thing. So this appeals, to my sensibilities, and so I like the concept.
Yeah, that's cool. Reminds me of that Sandra Bullock movie, except for a little more lighthearted. The children's book version,
Gravity.
Gravity. All right, this is Julianne's. Very similar. I love this. The reason I was asking about the pairing is because you almost have the same concept, just a sort of a different take on it. I love the kind of rounded shapes. It feels very children's booky. And then I like these lights hanging down. So it makes me wonder: is it like a play, or is it a room kind of setting? So I'm really intrigued by the little lines coming down, and them being actual lights instead of being up in space. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and vote on this.
Look at that reflection in the helmet. That's solid.
I feel like one of these is a t-shirt design and one is like a book illustration.
Mm.
You know, I'm not saying which is which. Or one of them could also be like a print that you hang on your wall, a poster or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think both of them could work for all that stuff. I think they're just amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna end the poll, share these results, and
the A's are pulling away today.
Yep, A wins again. A wins again. Congratulations, Andrea. Move you down here.
All right, to Julianne's. The one thing that I was hoping for, do you see that lower star right against the bottom? That's the only one that starts to lean towards that violet, basically warm it up. Me and Jake were saying is there a missed opportunity here for color balance in that everything is blue? And so it's just overall almost just too cool for me.
Yeah, let me just try that out. We'll do Lee's hard light, vivid light. Is that what
Either one of them? Yeah, you got to pick the super saturated though color and a soft edge.
Oh yeah,
super saturated
and soften that edge.
Yeah, pick a like a red. Oh well, that'll work too.
See, already these things are starting to, the contrast
glow
is like,
a little bit more. Yeah, I just think that's a color balance problem.
Isn't that great? I think, man, it does look better. Oh, and maybe this one is the one that's not glowing. That's why he's picked it.
It's turned off.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a cool addition to the concept. Maybe there's like a toolbox there and he's fixing it.
Yeah, or it's cracked, it's broken, replacing it with the new one.
Yeah, Darius said it would be cool if that's the only one that's lit, the one that he's lifting up. That'd be a cool idea too.
Yeah. All right.
It's fun to do these quick draw overs. It's amazing how easy it is to draw over other people's work, but it's so hard to do on your own. Do you guys find that as well?
Okay, we got Anna versus Samantha, and Liam and I were both talking about this. This Anna's picture. What really drew us to this one was how well rendered out this face is. Great expression, great design, and it just looks very professional. Like if I saw this on a book cover, I wouldn't think twice. I wouldn't think, oh, they're getting amateur. It's amateur hour at the publisher. I'd think, oh, I wonder what this book's about.
Yeah, that's really cool. I want to add to that too. Like this kind of a layout to me is the most terrifying layout if I was doing a book. Matter of fact, I had a layout like this in one of the books I did, Sophie's Fish, where it's literally just a head. And it was probably the easiest illustration I had and the one I was most terrified of the whole thing.
Because
like the bigger the head,
your style's so simple, and
yeah, there's not a lot to grab onto.
Like,
when your style's simple.
How do you add detail in a close-up without it making it look too rendered?
Oh, it's really hard. It's really hard. Even John Klassen was saying the same thing. I heard him do a conference and he was like, oh my gosh, the close-up face is the hardest thing. I think it's the smaller the character, the easier job I have of it. So this is just gorgeous.
The prompt again is star. So when you're voting, look at how these people have used the word star to to
Yeah.
inspire them. But what were you going to say about Samantha?
The fact that she went to the starfish is so cool. I love when people flip a topic on its head or change the meaning. I always think it adds interest to it. And then you've got this, again, just what we were talking about in the last image, this beautiful contrast of color, warm and cool. I mean, warm and cool. You guys check out movie posters for how much they use warm versus cool.
It's all
versus
blue
warm.
and orange.
It's like 90% of them. And when they vary it, it's just like leaning towards the yellow greens or something like blue violets or something. But it really does work. It's just one of those things like you can just bank on it. And that's the cool part. Like as you become an illustrator for a long time, you start to learn so many of those little things like, oh, I got this. If I do this, it's going to work. If I do this, it's going to work. If I do, and this is like one of the guarantees. As a matter of fact, both these images have it. But the concept and the little whale and mom whale and baby whale, it's just such a cool image. Speaking of a poster, I would hang this on my wall.
Cool. All right, let's vote.
Hey, so speaking of that, while people are voting, I do want to get a little thing going in your head in terms of business development. We sometimes talk about business ideas. If I had an image like the one on the right with the whales, I would finish that image, bask in the glory for a few days because it's an awesome image. And then I would start to think, who needs this image? I would start thinking National Geographic. I would start thinking, is there any poster companies or a card company that I could attach this to? And start shopping for clients. Instead of trying to put out a portfolio piece, get a client to contact you, and then you have to make a piece. What I shifted to start doing is make a piece and then find just who needs that piece.
Yeah.
And you sell it.
That's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna in the poll. We're gonna share these results.
Hey.
Another pretty close one, and it's A. So it seems like the trick to winning Critique Arena is to be placed in the A position.
You guys want to know the trick? These are so good, and I got to say I'm bummed out about this one not advancing. I think it's gorgeous. The only thing that I would say is that the starfish being so dominant on there, that it almost makes me think, if I did see this out in the wild, is like, are these starfish starting to be what's the right word? Like parasitic. Yeah, exactly. Are they hurting the whale? I just don't understand the total concept. I love the play on the word star though. So for our purposes here, it's great. Outside of our arena though, I don't understand the concept as much.
Yeah. All right. I agree. That's sort of my my take on that too. Is just the concept gets it's a striking image, great color, great execution. Concept is a little murky. All right, let's go down to
I do want to recommend clean up whatever that concept is going to be, make it a little more apparent, and sell that image. That image can sell. So for Samantha, you can sell that image somewhere.
All right, we've got Sora versus Miranda, and Cat's a Falling Star. It's a pun. You had me at pun. It's just it's a fun, playful image, and I think what's great about this is the silhouette. We talk about design principles all the time and making sure that your silhouette is easily readable, even when you have overlapping figures. To have a difference in their tone or their value can help with silhouette as well. And so it's really working on that design level. You could zoom out and still understand what you're looking at. And I think it's just got a good design.
Yeah. Same for Miranda's on the right too. What a pro level image that is for sure. These are some high quality images this month. I love this pairing too, Jake. Interesting. Both concepts, putting the stars in the bag, or in this case a pillowcase. But I love the additional concept from that. It's a falling star hospital, and these are kind of the 6 stars, and they're nursing them back to health. health. That is the coolest little, again, a little twist that you just don't see coming. You don't think about a 6-star. So then I start thinking about, okay, there's a story there that you can start to build on and maybe work up some more images as well. Again, it's very sequential kind of theme here.
Okay.
She can't see Miranda's. I can see it on mine though. Or can you guys see it? Yeah, the stars in the blanket. So cute.
Okay, I'm gonna launch the poll for these guys.
Launch that poll.
Poll launcher. Launch that poll.
So using that analogy, going back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, is making an image and then selling it. That's how I started doing covers for Karis Publishing, for Cricket Magazine, Spider, Ladybug, and Babybug. I was doing a bunch of stuff for the interiors, and then I just started making images that I thought would work for I researched what their seasonality was and kind of their sequencing of what they focus on as a theme. And then I started, I just send a message like every 2 months to the art director. How about this for the cover? And I would mock it up as the full cover. How about this as a cover? And then eventually, Sue Beck is the art director. She's like, okay. The image is already done. Her job is already done. It's a win-win for everybody. It was really great. And then I ended up doing probably 10 to 12 covers for them after that.
That's cool. All right, let's end this poll and share the results. Here you go.
All right. I don't want to root against anybody, but I wanted a bee to win at some point. So I'm repping the bees.
Miranda, good job. You move on to the next level. Well deserved. And what is this missing that it could be improved on? I know for me, just a little nitpick is this bag not feeling like these stars. Like I don't think you had to put the star indentations on the bag quite like that. I think that's a little ham-fisted, and it could have been treated almost like the leaves of the trees here, the different branches of the trees. So just a little bit more subtle than having such a hard line and kind of an image like that. Overall, though, I think I don't know. What would you say?
One other nitpicky detail. I think it's such a simple concept, so I don't want to complicate it. I think it's a great concept. That said, when you have a really simple image, the parts of that image become more important because there's so few of them. The star leaves a little to be desired, in my opinion, compared to how well the cats are drawn. That star feels a little clunky.
Yeah, squint your eyes, you're not sure it's the star. It's a little squashed. I think going back to the concept too, it's like, okay, the cats are collecting stars. I don't know why, but it's a pun. So cats are going to collect the stars. But what if this tree was covered in star ornaments and we see one or two still left on the tree? We see a couple on the ground. So now we know that they're like shaking them off when they're filling their sack with it.
Little crit on you, Jake. You spelled it's Sarah, not Sora. What kind of name? Where'd you get Sora?
Right there. Sora.
That's hey, you don't see the little line?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
To be fair, I'm gonna come to Jake's defense on this because me and Jake both thought that this was on Thursday. Earlier, about 2 hours ago, we thought this was on Thursday.
Right. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. Okay. We've got Amanda spelled right versus Holly spelled right.
Andrea said her name was wrong too, Jake. Sorry about this, you guys. We had to hurry to put this thing together.
Whose else name was right?
Andrea said that hers was wrong too somewhere. A little typo action. We are not the best typers here. We are not the best spellers. We aren't the best at grammar.
Yeah.
We can draw good though. Draw good.
Yeah, we draw good. Okay, let's do this one. We've got a theme kind of going on with a few of these where stars are being fabricated or constructed. Stars aren't real. They're some sort of mechanical structure, or in this case, made by fairies. And I think this is cool. You've got a foreground, midground, background kind of set up here, and it shows, it just moves your eye through this. And as soon as your eye moves down here, it's coming back this way. This arrow is this like point of the star is like an arrow pulling us back to her. I like construction fairies. I think it's a good idea. So really what this has going for it is a great concept and a nice composition.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. All right. Going over to Amanda's. Lots of pro moves going on in this one. Absolutely love the concept. I don't know why it just harkens back to that Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I can even hear the Charlie Brown theme kind of music with that sad tree. And then carrying this just gigantic star. I love that the kid is just so super excited. Like, I am going to put this star on the tree. It's just a great moment. I love illustrations where I see them and all of a sudden I just pause and I kind of go back and forth to what's going to happen. And it's just it's a fun little reader kind of moment to do that. And then the fact that they're on some kind of planet is that is just an interesting little side. One other little pro move I want to talk about is, what we're talking about, controlling your values and your focal points. And if you notice in the background, you got those two stars that are in space, and they're like this muted kind of neutral, almost chocolate brown. That is such a pro move, because if you lit those stars up the same color, the star that he's carrying, all of a sudden it's going to dilute the whole scene. And so just controlling that value, saying, I want all the attention on this star. The other stars can be there, but you got to just change them up a little bit and not let them get, all the lighting and all the value. So great control all the way around.
Cool. Okay, let's see what we got here for the poll. We've added 10 more people to the arena, to the voting. So should have about 100 people voting.
111 people here right now. I don't know. Did you get YouTube working?
Yeah, YouTube's going. How many
people do we got there?
13
currently
watching on YouTube.
13 million?
13 million over on YouTube, which is nice.
Good.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll and share the results. And okay, B wins.
Make a comeback.
So the bottom bracket, it helps to be a B in the B place.
B for bottom bracket.
Yep.
Those look great next to each other.
Congratulations,
That's going to be a
Amanda.
nice little battle right there. Holly, what a solid image. Again, it's sad that one has to be left behind, because this is super tight. I really like it. I don't know what I would change, except for maybe adding a little color balance, like we were talking about before. It's all really neutral, cool. Yeah. It doesn't have much interest there. But man, what a cool image.
Yep, I agree. And you could do a little bit better on anatomy and structure on this. So like the neck's a little far back. You might position this head a little bit better on that neck, a little bit better silhouette maybe with the hammer.
She's in, wouldn't you say that Holly's in sort of the uncanny, I don't want to say uncanny valley, because I always think of like the movie Polar Express, which was so weird because they were in the uncanny valley. But this is an interesting level of character design, because you're right next to going, if you go one way, it's almost like a realistic character. And then if you go the other way, it's more of a stylized character. But right now it's kind of stylized and it's kind of real. And so do you need to go like what you're saying and make sure the anatomy is right? And I think you do. It becomes really important when you got a character like this, that everything is kind of the right proportion. But what is the right proportion? Because it's not realism. There is a little bit of stylization there. So it's a really tough one to do.
Yeah. So a little character design goes a long way. Okay. Next up, we have Josh versus Dima. And
your pairings are solid, Jake.
I appreciate that. Something I did good today. Something actually
good.
I didn't spell the names right, but I paired them up right. So here they belong
together.
Yeah. again, with this one, beautiful composition, beautiful, like just the lighting and the rendering. And it's a kind of a cool idea. I mean, not that we've never seen somebody fishing off the moon before like that, but frogs this time. And we got frogs doing it. Something about frogs are nocturnal. They're always making those croaking noises at night. So I think it works. It makes sense. It's just a fun illustration.
I thought you were getting ready to make the frog sound.
Ribbit.
There we go. All right, Dima's image over here. So fun. Star comes down, shooting star. So we've got some storytelling in the background. This star happens to get hung up in the tree, right where these two little scurrying squirrels are scampering around to, and they're kind of curious about it. Really fun little moment. My question is, what are they going to do next with this star? And that opens up a whole host of possibilities. So if you haven't started exploring that, Dima, definitely do that, because for all these images, you guys, when we're talking about storytelling, start thinking in groups of threes. At least 3 images as you're working through things, instead of just as an early illustrator. I remember working so hard to make one image, and then when I was done with that image, I'd be like, okay, what's my next thing? Got to start a whole new concept, whole new thing, and not realizing that you can live in these worlds for a little while, even if it's not going to be a picture book. You can live in these worlds and make 3, 4, 5 images and as a set, if that makes sense. And so I'd love to see this as a set, but love this initial moment. It's always the moment that sparks my interest, when it's the moment right before a lot of action takes place, where it's almost like they're just noticing this new thing.
And that star looks like something I'd like to bite into.
It's like the jello.
And I'm thinking like a honeycomb, like just honey dripping out, a honey star. Okay. Launching the new poll. Here we go. Who knows which way this will go?
This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
If I was voting, I'm glad I'm not voting. It's kind of tough to.
Right. Boy, that filled up fast. Like everyone voted right away. I'm going to wait for 2 more votes.
Are we close?
It's very close. And then we'll close it. Okay. And just one more, and we'll see what happens. Okay. I don't think I think we're good. We'll end it now. And
boom. The bees are dominating on the bottom row.
I think what's happening is people are like, well, I can't decide, so I'm just going to make it a B.
That's really close though. 52 to 58. That's how close the voting was that time. Good amount of votes too. Yep. Man, oh man, I love these images that are getting left behind too. I feel it's so unfortunate. I love that little boat flying over. It's such a subtle, nice detail. Didn't have to draw it in there, but it adds so much interest to the image.
You know what? I think it comes back to contrasting colors, because this just is like, when you look at these next to each other, there's so much more contrast. You got the blue and the gold, and this one is kind of those cools. Yeah, you've got greens and blues. It's all on one side of that color spectrum. And I'm wondering if the moon and the star were really vibrant yellows, if that would change it. It's a good question. I'd love to see some of these. We make these comments, and you guys definitely don't have to take our advice on them. But for some of these, like Jake suggested, I'd love to see that change and put it into the forum from Josh. Okay, we got Joyce versus Joel in this round. What struck me about Joyce's was this really was unlike anything we had seen in Critique Arena in this group, but also in a while. This is just such a professional level of design. This is like taking something that's very contemporary, these proportions, these colors, but then giving it this texture. Like this design is something you would see in like corporate illustration, where there's a team of people working together to like solve a problem. But this is done in a much more illustrative, pastel, like textured kind of way, and I just think it looks good. This is cool.
Yeah, nice looking style. My wife will be the first one to tell you that I have no emotions or feelings. I'm like kind of a robot.
Mm-hmm.
But this image from Joel got me. I mean, it really hits because I don't normally get that sentimental when looking at an image, but this is just done so absolutely well. Like you got the new generation at the top, holding up and that whole family dynamic. And then, the older person is kind of starting to fade away. They're separating from the family and stuff. It's such a sweet moment, but it's got such sadness to it as well. It's a very emotional image. And you can't beat that kind of emotion. It's tough to pull that out, especially if you get that from a robot like me.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say, Lee, you do get very, very excited about things.
That's the only emotion I have.
Yeah.
It's either super excited, like those squirrels that are investigating the star. That's about my normal operating mode.
Right. All right. Wow, we had 5 more people show up to Critique Arena.
Boom. Word on the interwebs is getting around.
Yeah. They're like, it's Tuesday. What? Okay. Showing up now. All right. We've got 83%, 86% participation. Just looking for the last few people to, we want to get a 90% participation rate on these voting, then we'll call it good. And good. In poll, share results.
Close one. These are all really close.
Yeah, really close, but it does go to A. A is the only one on the bottom. The only A on the bottom to have moved up. All right. One thing on this one that I think would help it. It's a small thing, but I did an entire graphic novel and forgot to do this. And that was just a little highlight in all the eyes.
Oh my gosh, Jake, really?
I
Say
think
hello
that
to Nim Nim.
I think that makes such a huge difference. It turns them from being like buttons to being actual like living humans. So that's one little thing I would fix. I don't know if that would have made the difference in winning or not. But that's one little thing. The other thing, compositionally, like everybody's looking this way. It's just driving me off this page.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe there's another character on that side kind of holding
so
the
I kind of
image.
Right. I want like somebody here, like putting something, on there.
I'd love, that's a nice choice right there. The other thing is I'd like the granddad to try to participate. I think he'd be a part of it. So like they would have given him like a Santa hat or some other kind of little thing, you know what I mean? To include him in the picture. It would still have the same meaning, but it would kind of group him with the family. He's almost like a stranger that's in there that's not part of this.
Yeah, like maybe he's
got a candy cane in his pocket or something.
In his hand.
Which one do you like, Nim Nim?
Yeah. Okay. Let's
let my cat decide next month. Nim Nim decide.
All right. We're running, man. We've been doing so many drawovers and stuff. We're running close. We're going to waste people's time. So we're just going to launch right into voting. You guys know what's good and bad about these. So let's do it.
Wow. We are already at the, almost at the hour mark almost. Wow. We're chatty.
Which one do you like better?
To hang out. So we've been chatting a little more.
I know. This just comes down to which one we like better. And we're going to leave these polls open. So if you want to get a vote in, we're just going to leave them open for 30 seconds. And I'm closing them at 30 seconds regardless of participation. So it's kind of almost like a lightning round.
even if it's 50-50, you gotta.
Yep. Okay. Sharing the results. And Josh moves down
Nice.
or moves up.
Again, hate to see these ones let go.
Yeah.
Everybody in the top 16 super solid this month. I mean, everybody's always solid in the top
Yeah.
16 for sure.
I think the one thing I would change on this or would work on this is give these faces the love and the attention that you gave the boat. So I feel like the boat has all this detail and these faces could just use a little bit more resolution on them, you know?
Yeah, this is also another style that's kind of right in that mode. It's not quite realistic and it's not quite stylized. It's very tough there. And Jake and I both thought that boat got all the love there.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this one now.
I love the second round because it's these kind of random pairings.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of serendipity, what goes up against what. But this one, they couldn't be more different.
It's true. It's true. One is more realistic stars, and one is very much symbolic stars of some kind.
Okay, while we're waiting for people to vote, can I just do a critique on?
I'm about to share the results.
Oh, go cry. I'll keep it to myself then. I was going to complain about something.
That was a close one. There's a difference of like
44 to 51.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we got to do our crit of
that's
that
right,
one.
That's right.
Just real quick. We'll just bang it out. Right now, it again, I think the rendering and the style of this character is gorgeous. But how it plays out into a concept. I mean, he's almost like a spectator of this image. There's no engagement of him to what's going on back there. So there's a little bit of a disconnect to me. I'm not really emotionally connected to this one.
Mm-hmm. I want to see just a little bit of glimmer in these eyes, or something, you know.
Jake's on a highlighting kind of moment right now.
Just something like that.
Okay.
All right.
That's going to be Jake's critique from now on. You know what? You need a little highlight.
Look at this. Look at this.
There's just a dot. How are you supposed to add a highlight?
I'm just kidding. All right, let's vote. Here we go.
All right, I'll complain now because we got a little bit more time. The shapes and stuff that's in the sky. What do you call those now? I can't even think. Is it not zodiac, but you know, like all the stuff, the Big Dipper and all that stuff.
Yeah, constellations.
And those groupings, compared to what they are calling them, are so abstract. It'll be like 3 stars, and they're like, "Oh, the warrior fighting the lion." Like, okay, come on, they're playing a little loose with that stuff. It's just a stretch.
I agree. I've always been a little frustrated with that. Okay, ending the poll. This is good participation on this one.
Boom. And those are 2 solid images right next to each other. Man, hard to say how that first one could be made better. I think at this point it's just the audience preference of the mood they're in.
I want to point out these eyes have glints in them. So
the glints are winning. Laura says back then they could see more stars, and so maybe there was more.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's true. I'm looking from a city. I only see 1 star.
The only thing that this needs or has going against it is this tree is a little, if you squint your eyes, it's hard to see this tree.
A little bit.
So I would say make this brown a much lighter value for the branches, or put like some space dust behind it so it reads in silhouette a little bit better.
Super cool image though. I mean,
Yep.
So definitely a winner.
All right.
This could not be more different in style.
Yeah. I'm really curious how this one goes. All right, 30 seconds. Go. Vote.
Doo-doo-doo.
Well, there's been some hard and fast critique arena rules too over the years. It's like cute wins. If it's an ugly thing versus a cute thing, it usually wins. If it's like a character centric versus environment centric, the character centric thing will win. If they have glint in their eyes,
They win.
they win. Okay, I'm into the poll. And B
That's interesting.
moved up.
That is interesting.
It's
I love
honey
Joyce's
star.
image. That is another one that I want to say you want to contact a card company if you're not already doing cards, Joyce. That is such a cool image. I don't know if the picture, if you wanted to theme it a little more for Christmas, you could have some pictures that maybe lean Christmassy a little bit more. I don't know if I would have to do that, but it's a great looking image and the style is on point.
Yep. All right, now we're down to our top 4, and whoever wins this round is going to do a podcast illustration. All right, so
Jake Merriam says that your glasses, there's some sheen on your glasses and it's causing you to want to have glints on everybody's
that's probably what it
eyes,
is.
little highlights,
Take these
sparkly.
off. Now everything's blurry. Okay, you guys ready?
This is a tricky one.
Go. Here we go. It's
The mustache on the tree is such a funny choice.
I know.
I always think about that like Saturday Night Live character, like the Bears.
The Bears. All right. I'm gonna end the poll in 5 seconds. And boom, ended sharing the results. And we have
the Bears.
Josh Lewis. Josh Lewis, you won Critique Arena.
Good job, Josh.
Worked his way up
from the ranks.
Is like what we found him, doing like scrapyard fights in Gladiator.
And we primed him.
Congratulations, Josh. Okay, what do you got for Andrea?
I don't know. What do you got?
I'll tell you what I got.
Glints in the eyes.
Yeah, I mean, look, no glints. No, I think ultimately when I look at these two next to each other, this has so much more saturation and color and like crispness to it, light. And then you look at this and it really is, it's
washy.
Yeah, it's a little washed out. I think very bright yellow stars might go a long way on that one. All right.
Would you go violet with the
look how far you made it
with the sky back there?
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
Look at the color here versus that. It's just it could be just a little more colorful. Concept's good, but I think in order to win Critique Arena, you're gonna have to be colorful.
Andrea says she used one of my palettes. Which one? I typically have more color, I think, unless I don't know if I've had one that's that monochromatic.
Well, and who knows, maybe in another Critique Arena, this would have won over one that was, it could have been that I'm sorry. It's a good illustration. And
it is.
I'm just.
Oh, she said the one with the moon walking up to the house. If I pull that image up, I will show you that image. It has a ton of greens and blues in it.
You're going to challenge her on that.
I'm challenging you, Andrea. I think you can bring a lot more color into that. It'd be interesting to do some 3 different colorways of that and post it to the forum and see what it does. Because again, we're just making suggestions, but who knows?
Yeah. All right. Miranda versus Dima. Who is going to win Critique Arena? if Miranda wins, it's not going to be her first time. She's won a couple times.
Do, do, do.
I love all the details there. I'm sorry, I don't want to sway the vote. Honey Star versus
swaying.
cool wall details. All right, I'm ending the poll and sharing these results. And congratulations, Miranda,
Miranda with the win.
co-winner of Critique Arena.
Hard to argue with that. Execution flawless. Story is so sweet, and you know, somebody was talking about the thermometers and stuff. It's just so good, so good.
Cool. All right, what would you say to Dima about this one?
I would say one of the squirrels needs to be engaging the star a little bit more. With both of the squirrels, they're almost like, since they're vertical, I can't call them bookends, but essentially they're they're bookending each other, mirroring each other. So there needs to be a little more engagement. Like even if one of them was reaching towards it or something to get some engagement, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously a little glint to the eyes. You can see what difference that makes. No, it'd be cool if you had like, he's coming out of the hole here or something.
Your glint to the eye is like Will's realization that the characters need to be in saturated red. That's Will's new critique on everything. Character needs to be wearing red.
Yeah, I think something like that would do. Maybe a couple branches coming off the side, just so it doesn't look like this branch is
one-sided. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations, everybody. Special congratulations to our winners. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you guys.
That was fun.
We'll see you guys next week for the All-Stars.
Yeah. Be sure to tune in.